No wonder Walt Disney actually took an entire decade of the 1950s decade to make Sleeping Beauty. And yes, I am in this same aspect ratio as Sleeping Beauty. So yeah. So yeah, guys. So today I am going to be re-reviewing Sleeping Beauty. So yeah. So before I go, right over here, I'm going to say this. Cue the intro. Oh, wait, I meant to say I'm re-reviewing this movie right now, today actually, which speaking of which, I am going to be reviewing this Disney classic today, leading up to, Disney 100, and especially my most anticipated movie of, 2023, to actually, celebrate Disney's 100th anniversary, Wish, which is aka my most anticipated movie of all time, and also this year, actually, 2023, so yeah. So, without further ado, I am going to be reviewing this movie right now, today actually. So yeah. Hey guys, this is Evan's Disney's Film Corner 2023 here on today. Guess what, guys? And today I am going to be reviewing Sleeping Beauty. Came in the year of 1959. So yeah. So yeah, guys. So I am going to read this plot on the internet. So yeah. So basically, what the plot's about. Filled with jealousy, the evil witch Maleficent curses Princess Aurora to die on her 16th birthday, thanks to her thanks to Aurora's guardian fairies, Frena, Fauna, Merryweather. She only falls into a deep sleep, and that can be ended by a kiss from her bothered Prince Philip to prevent Philip from rescuing Aurora. Maleficent kidnaps and imprisons him. The good fairy's last hope is to free Prince Philip so she can awaken Aurora. So yeah, I know that this movie actually had a really interesting production history. Actually, I mean, I know Walt Disney first considered to adapt the fairy tale in 1938, but with primarily artwork submitted by Joe Grant, but the project never went forward actually. But in January of 1950, following the preview audience positive response to Cinderella, he decided to actually reconsider that making Sleeping Beauty movie actually, which he decided to make another fairy tale with Sleeping Beauty, to adapt another fairy tale into a movie actually. He it was actually planned with a production title with the Motion Picture Association of America, which honestly, yeah. And also in November that year, reported Los Angeles Times actually said that development on the film began actually, which honestly, yeah. Which he actually realized that the difficulty of producing another fairy tale was it would not be too preservative of his previous films, notably Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Cinderella actually. So yeah, and of course the production kept retelling to his staff to had it be different actually. So yeah, which I know that he really I know that Walt Disney really wanted this movie to be his magnum opus. Like he really wanted Sleeping Beauty's art style to be more unique, like unlike Snow White, and with Cinderella actually, which he wanted the like concept that are done by Mary Blair to show in the final film instead of being like altered, which honestly, yeah. Which I know that the artwork of this movie, the backgrounds of this movie are done by Ivan Earl actually. So yeah, by June of 1932, the full storyboard was of Sleeping Beauty was completed, but Walt Disney ejected, but considering that this story felt too similar to the studio's earlier films actually, which honestly, yeah. And also the movie was originally going to come out in 1955, but but Walt Disney decided to delay it because he wasn't satisfied with the with the entire with the with the movie. Actually, he decided to drop out the original songs of the movie, but instead, and the original score, but instead he decided to actually use the score from the ballet version of Sleeping Beauty, which with the Charlovsky ballet, which honestly was really beautiful in this movie as well. It fits that movie so well. So yeah, and also I know this movie was originally also going to come out in even though production delays that production also began in July of 1953, but yeah, as well. And also the movie was originally was scheduled for February 1957 release date, but it got delayed and got postponed until Christmas 1957, and then it got delayed. And also production did resume in December of 1956, and also and it did get rescheduled for Christmas of 1955, but that got delayed. But that got delayed to 1 month to January 29th of 1959 actually. So yeah. But when it was, and also fun fact, when Sleeping Beauty was first released, it was a box office bomb actually. Even though it was Disney's most expensive film at the time with $6 million actually. So yeah, even though he decided to use the cinema, he actually decided to shot this movie in CinemaScope, which definitely looks fantastic. So yeah, guys. So what do I think of this movie? I have to say this is definitely my favorite Disney movie in Walt area, actually. Which honestly, this is definitely my favorite Disney movie in Walt area. Which honestly, yeah. And also, this is definitely my favorite movie of 1989 as well. Which honestly, yeah. I know this is actually. I know this movie was a box office bomb back then, but when it got re-released in theaters, it made a lot of money. Actually, it was actually the second highest grossing movie of 1980. I meant to say, it was the second highest grossing movie of 1959, right under with Ben-Hur being number one. Actually, the number one highest grossing movie of 1959 was Ben-Hur. Actually, so yeah, I mean, and honestly, yeah. And we'll get into the animation later, actually. So yeah, and also yeah, even though Sleeping Beauty did receive mixed reviews back then actually back when it was released in 1959, they praised the art direction and the musical score, but actually criticized the plot and characters back then actually. But honestly, yeah, which I know that and also just like with Lady and the Tramp, which honestly I know critics didn't like that movie back then actually. I know they didn't like Lady and the Tramp back then actually, but nowadays they consider a classic. Just like this, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know that critics didn't like this movie back then, but nowadays they love it and consider it to be one of the Disney classics actually. So yeah, and also yeah. And also, I thought the characters like Aurora and Philip are also great characters. Also, yeah, and even though Aurora doesn't even though she doesn't do too much in the film, she was still really good in this movie actually. Yeah, she was definitely great in this movie as well. And also, I thought Mara Costa did fantastic voicing her as well. And also, yeah, and also speaking of Maleficent, Eleanor Audley actually voices this character actually, which is one of Disney. Yeah, Maleficent's definitely one of Disney's greatest villains actually. Even though my favorite Disney villain is definitely in my opinion would have to be Cruella from 101 Dalmatians and Scar from The Lion King actually, which honestly I thought Maleficent was definitely a fantastic villain. I mean, yeah. Even though, yeah. And fun fact, she's actually voiced by the same actress. She's actually voiced by the same actress who voiced Lady Tremaine in Cinderella, yeah. Yeah, and also that's really exciting that Disney got to that Eleanor Audley got to voice another Disney villain, but this time a lot more powerful and a lot more yeah. but this time with a lot more power actually. So yeah, and also yeah, and also yeah, and also yeah, which I know that yeah she did voice Lady Tremaine Cinderella, but yeah, I mean rest in peace to Eleanor Audley. I mean she was definitely a really great actress actually, voicing this character actually. So yeah, and also yeah she is definitely a really great actress actually. So yeah, for voicing two of Disney's best villains, Lady Tremaine and Maleficent. So yeah. So yeah, guys. So now let's talk about the music and the score of this movie and the songs. So yeah. And also yeah, the songs of this movie are definitely fantastic. Like One Gift was definitely beautiful, Once Upon a Dream was great, and also I Wonder, and also yeah, they were definitely really great songs. So yeah, enough said. So yeah. And now let's talk about I'm saving the best for last, the animation of this movie, which honestly, it actually took an entire decade. I can understand why Walt Disney actually took an entire decade in the 1950s decade to make Sleeping Beauty, because he really wanted the animation to look even more amazing than his previous films like Snow White and with Cinderella, which honestly yeah. And even though Disney hasn't made a fairy tale movie, he even after Sleeping Beauty, Disney hadn't made a fairy tale movie. But 30 years later, they made The Little Mermaid in 1989, actually, which honestly, yeah. Which honestly, yeah. And which they're back at making fairy tale movies, so yeah. And also, yeah. Which honestly, I love how the animation of Sleeping Beauty looks like a living painting. Like Ivan, like, I know Ivan Earl did the backgrounds of the movie, and they look fantastic. They look gorgeous. Like, honestly, yeah. Which, honestly, Ivan Earl's art style is gorgeous. Like, his paintings look fantastic. Like, honestly, it's, like, abstract and also with nature of the leaves, which, honestly, yeah. Which I know that, Wish is also going to be, using the aspect ratio of Sleeping Beauty, and its art style also takes inspiration from Sleeping Beauty as well, which honestly, that also looks fantastic as well, which honestly, yeah, I love the animation of Wish as well, which honestly, it is a mixture of Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, which honestly definitely look fantastic as well, which honestly, yeah. And also, I know that other movie, I know that Nimona that came out this year also took inspiration from Sleeping Beauty as well. Yeah, the movie's art style of Nimona actually took inspiration from Ivan Earl, which it also took inspiration from Ivan Earl, which Nimona's animation style also took inspiration from Sleeping Beauty and Blade Runner, which honestly, yeah, I thought that movie's animation definitely looked fantastic, just as fantastic as this, and also Wish actually, which we're getting 2 months from now. So yeah, which to celebrate Disney's 100th anniversary, which I definitely cannot wait for that. So yeah, which I love how the every frame in this movie looks like a painting actually, which honestly yeah, this might possibly be Walt Mission Studios' best looking movie of the 1950s decade, and possibly Disney's best looking movie of Walt era actually. So yeah, and also yeah, the animation of this movie definitely looks fantastic, and I mean it still holds up to this day, 64 years later. Even though I know that Sleeping Beauty is actually going to be turning 65 years old next year, which man, time goes by very fast. So yeah, I mean the animation of this movie still holds up to this day, 64 years later. It's fantastic and absolutely phenomenal, and yeah, it looks like a living painting, and also yeah, it's definitely absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so overall, guys, I have nothing else to say about this movie. So yeah, so if you haven't seen Sleeping Beauty, where have you been? I recommend it. It is streaming on Disney Plus. So yeah. So yeah, guys, so I am going to give Sleeping Beauty a 10 out of 10 spectacular. So yeah, guys, what do you think of my review on Sleeping Beauty? So yeah, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe my channel, and make sure to like this video. So yeah, so stay tuned for my short review on the Blue Umbrella, which I'm going to be reviewing on September 5th of this year, which is Tuesday actually, so stay tuned for that. And for next Friday, I am going to be doing my movie review on Sleepless in Seattle, which will be next Friday, September 8th on my channel, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, guys, so before I go, I'm going to say this. So I make this wish, doing something more for us than this. Oh, more than this. Oh, 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 oh. Who's your favorite fearless hero? Who's your favorite fearless hero? We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. See the light with the sky meets the sea. It calls me, and no one knows before it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know how far I'll go. Oh, remember me. Though I have to say goodbye, remember me. And bye.